In the world of tech startups, ambition is everything. Investors want numbers, founders want growth, and the chase for success can turn even the brightest ideas into dangerous illusions. This is the story of Charlie Javice, a young entrepreneur celebrated as a genius, a visionary, a woman changing the future of student finances. She was on magazine covers. She gave TED-style talks. She sold her company to the largest bank in the United States for $175 million. But behind the applause, something was wrong, something hidden, something waiting to explode. Today, we dive into the rise and fall of Charlie Javice, the founder of Frank, a startup built on a mission and later accused of being built on lies. Charlie Javice grew up in a comfortable environment in Westchester County, New York, a place known for producing high achievers. From a young age, she was described as smart, confident, and determined. By the time she reached the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, she wasn't just another business student. She wanted to disrupt something Wharton's culture encouraged it. Find a problem, solve it, scale it. And Charlie found one: the complex, overwhelming world of student financial aid. She saw an opportunity. In 2017, at just 24 years old, she launched Frank, a platform promising to make FAFSA applications faster and easier. Students loved the idea. Investors loved the idea. Tech media loved the idea. Charlie became a rising star. She was named to Forbes' 30 Under 30. Her company was called The Future of Student Aid. Standing on stages, she spoke about helping millions of students. But there was something nobody knew behind the glossy image of success. The numbers weren't growing fast enough. By 2021, the startup world was booming. Companies were being bought for massive sums, sometimes with very little due diligence. Everyone wanted the next big thing, and JPMorgan Chase was no different. They saw Frank as the perfect door into millions of potential student banking customers. Charlie told them Frank had 4.25 million users, a huge number for an education platform to JPMorgan. The deal was irresistible. They offered $175 million. For Charlie, this was the dream: a life-changing payday, validation, fame. The kind of success founders imagine at 3 a.m. while building their companies from scratch. But there was one problem, a problem big enough to destroy everything. Frank did not have 4 million users. Not even close. At some point during negotiations, JPMorgan asked for something simple: show us your user list. This is where the story shifts. From ambition to fabrication. Federal filings later revealed that Charlie didn't have the data she had promised. So prosecutors say she took another route. She allegedly hired a data scientist, paying about $18,000, to create a list of millions of fake student names, emails, and personal details. A synthetic customer base, invented identities, digital ghosts. The data scientist later told investigators he was misled into believing the information was legitimate. He didn't know he was helping fabricate a user base. JPMorgan received the file. They believed it. They moved forward with the acquisition. For a moment, everything seemed perfect. Charlie Javice, the young founder, had pulled off one of the most impressive exits in tech. But underneath the surface, the truth was ticking like a bomb. After the acquisition, JPMorgan tried to email the millions of students Frank supposedly served. What they expected? A flood of engagement. What they got instead? Bounce backs, errors, silence. Something was wrong. The bank launched an internal review. They dug into the data. The deeper they went, the more cracks they found. And by 2023, those cracks had become a canyon. Charlie Javice was arrested and charged with securities fraud, wire fraud, bank fraud, conspiracy. The allegations were severe. Prosecutors claimed she had knowingly inflated user numbers, misled investors, and deceived multiple institutions. JPMorgan sued. The federal government pressed charges. The media turned her into the face of startup fraud. But the most shocking twist, because of the acquisition contract, JPMorgan was obligated to cover her legal expenses, more than $140 million worth, including questionable charges for travel and personal items. It was surreal. The bank claiming to be the victim was still paying the defendant's bills. The case moved quickly. By March 2025, a federal jury found Charlie Javice guilty on all counts. In September 2025, she was sentenced to 85 months in prison, more than 7 years, and ordered to forfeit millions in assets. It was one of the biggest falls from grace in recent tech history. A young founder who had everything, the money, the fame, the platform, now faced years behind bars. The Frank case became a warning signal for the tech world, a reminder that inflated numbers, fake growth, and fabricated data aren't just startup tricks. They're crimes. In the end, the story of Charlie Javice is not just about fraud. It's about pressure, about the obsession with hypergrowth, about the illusion that success must come fast. At any cost, Frank began as a good idea, a useful one, a mission that genuinely helped students. But somewhere along the way, the desire to look successful became more important than actually being successful. And that is what turned a promising founder into a federal convict. This case reminds us that not all crimes involve violence or banks being robbed at gunpoint. Sometimes the damage happens quietly, inside boardrooms, spreadsheets, and investor pitches. If you want more true crime stories like this, deep dives into financial schemes, dangerous shortcuts, and the people behind them, subscribe to Stories of Criminal World.